Welcome to Feared Armor. On this channel, I help you understand a battle raging between the powers of good and evil in the dimensional realm and how that manifests into our physical world. And I help you become a very strong individual through difficult times that are on our horizon. The foundation of this channel is a book that I wrote called The Deathless War. And in this book, I help you not only understand future events that we're going to have to deal with, but how to become an extremely strong-willed and resolved individual to be able to get through it. In our current global crisis that we're dealing with, this is a perfect opportunity to really evaluate, take a look at, do some deep dives with many of the issues that we're going to have to deal with in the future. This is a great test bed, if you will, for becoming a resolved individual to be able to deal with difficult times that are ahead. In our series right now, we're talking about enemy strategies. This can be applied in many different arenas, many different ways. But again, this is very, very perfect and very important to understand. We've seen historical elements of propaganda, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a couple. Take World War II, for instance. I'm going to show you a couple posters that were circulated from Germany, and I'm going to show you a couple posters that were circulated here in the United States to give you a very visual glimpse of what propaganda looks like. The first poster on the left is making a very clear statement that the Jewish people are having the United States, Britain, Soviet Union fight on their behalf against Germany. So if you want to actually put a face to who the enemy is, this again reinforces the fact that Hitler was putting the economic disaster that was occurring on Germany, was building up, and he was putting all of that on the Jewish people. The poster on the right was circulated throughout Poland, and it claims at the top, it says Jew lice, and at the bottom it says typhus spotted. So again, they were trying to put the fact that lice was being spotted on the Jewish people. They're claiming, again, they're filthy people, and this would, again, especially is very timely of what we're going through right now. Many people going out and putting on masks because they're afraid of this current event and this current virus that we're dealing with. So if you could actually put a face on who's responsible for some type of health issue, again, that's very powerful. Propaganda in the United States, with the first poster on the left, was trying to get people to carpool or car share. And if you didn't, then you should feel extremely guilty because you're technically riding with Hitler by not conserving gasoline and thereby helping the enemy. The most famous line or quote out of World War II is "Loose lips sink ships," where if you were the wife of one of these soldiers and he told you what his deployment orders were, and then you went out and you talked about it, again, in the United States, we felt that there were a lot of spies that were roaming around and then would relay that information back to Berlin somehow. So in those examples, you can obviously see very visually and very clearly what propaganda is really all about. It's really about stating something, showing something, creating an environment, or trying to get people to do something that you want, and to try and promote them to do something and put pressure on them for them to believe something a certain way, to act in a certain way, and all of that. I think, obviously, we can see all throughout media today, propaganda is, there's really no, many years ago, you could pick up newspapers, whether they leaned right or left, it didn't necessarily matter, and you could understand what a situation was. what the story was. Sure, it might have had a few words that would kind of slant or persuade you to one side or the other, but essentially the storyline was given to you in a truthful manner. That's completely out the window nowadays. Every single story that you see on the right and the left all have to do with getting you to align with their way of thinking. Every single story, certainly in politics. Now, maybe some of these mainstream media outlets will have certain stories that it doesn't necessarily matter whether you believe it one way or another. But in our current situation, in this global crisis that we're dealing with right now, you have news organizations on the left and the right that are trying to get you to align with their way of thinking. It's extremely prevalent and extremely easy to see. The importance of this and the importance of this video to understand propaganda and how to be able to identify it, see it a mile away, and read and not allow yourself to be manipulated by it is because many things that are in our future in this final battle, we know that we're going to be manipulated. The Bible is extremely clear about this. Do not be fooled by many that will come before me, claiming that they are me. Jesus referring to many false prophets that are going to come. It's imperative that we understand that if the world is moving in a specific direction, especially a majority of the world, then that should be a red flag immediately that there's something not wrong. In my book, it's very, very clear that we will not be the signs of Jesus coming a second time will be so clear that it will make everything else pale in comparison. And I give a good explanation in the book about why, what type of an actual event you're actually going to see. Everything else will simply pale by comparison. So it's important to understand and be able to clearly see propaganda. When somebody says that, this is happening, or you need to do this, or you're feeling shamed, or you're feeling pressured into doing something, all of these methods of propaganda you need to be able to clearly identify what they are and be resolved against that and not do certain things, or not go out to actually see if this is the case or that is the case. Right? So it's very, very important that we use this opportunity that we have right now to totally and completely and clearly identify propaganda. And again, in the media, it's extremely obvious. And you can clearly see whichever side you currently align with isn't the issue. The issue is that you should, no matter what side you are, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you hate Trump or you love Trump, don't be manipulated by others telling you that you have a disdain for the president or you want to put that man on a pedestal, right? That choice is yours and yours alone. It doesn't matter. I'm not an individual that aligns with any political party, registered independent, because politics is a beast in and of itself. I'm more interested about helping people understand the difficulties ahead and vote for someone or a party that is simply going to buy humanity more time. That's technically the most important thing. It's not about whether you like an individual or you dislike an individual, or whether you like a political party and dislike the others. None of that actually matters. People say all the time, the most important asset that each and every one of us has is time. And that's true. Getting much older myself, I certainly can absolutely attest to that fact. The older that you get, the more that you can appreciate every single day, which equates to nothing more than time. one more day that you have to live. And to help people understand this, the difficult times that they're going to be faced with in the future, understanding the longer we can put that off into the future, the better. So the longer that humanity can stop itself from self-imploding and self-destructing, then the better off that we all are to have more time to be able to help people with truthful information and allow them more time to be able to make a decision that's going to impact their dimensional form for infinite future time to come. So I hope this is clear on what propaganda is, how to keep yourself insulated from it. Doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you happen to be on. It's important to buy humanity time. Okay, if you like this video, I invite you to subscribe and click the like button, and you'll be notified when I upload another video. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.